All right, so when we're looking at Biden's policy for Syria, I haven't talked about it a whole lot because he hasn't talked about it a whole lot, and it doesn't seem like anything has changed from Trump so far. Syria did signal that they're willing to talk with the U.S. if the U.S. policies are changed, but again, we really don't see anything that's a shift in U.S. policy. Jason Ditz, at antiwar.com, highlights that U.S. convoys continue to enter northeastern Syria, signaling that plans are to stay the same. We did have one announcement on the U.S. Position in Syria, and this is from Dave DeCamp, and that is the Pentagon has said that the U.S. troops are not protecting oil fields in Syria, although it doesn't seem like their mission has really changed from Trump. And so if they're just patrolling around the oil fields, but their mission isn't to protect them, I'm not seeing how there's a real change there. And those statements were from Pentagon spokesman John Kirby. So I don't think that there's a whole lot of good news on Syria, but I don't think there's a whole lot of news yet. I think it's possible that Biden may still make a good decision on this, or he can make a really bad one, or just kind of leave this stagnant and hope that it doesn't really become an issue for him the next 4 years. The problem is doing nothing in Syria is adding to a lot of suffering. The U.S. has, along with North Korea, Iran, and Venezuela, a maximum pressure campaign now on Syria with the Caesar sanctions, and not repealing those sanctions, not moving U.S. troops, and keeping up the aggressive policy where we essentially hold like a third of the Syrian landmass is not going to help the Syrian people start to live better lives. There's nothing we could do about Bashar al-Assad staying in power in Syria. Maybe that there could have been reforms that happened out of the Arab Spring, but unfortunately, the U.S. decided through the Timber Sycamore program to arm up and train the Islamists there and create a bloody mess of a civil war that is now a decade old and claimed 400,000 lives. So that's where we're at on Syria. All right, everybody. That's what I have for news today. I will be back on Monday with Will Porter. I think a lot of what we have is China news and Assange news, talking about Biden's policy on those. So make sure you're subscribed to the show somewhere so you don't miss that episode. It's going to be a great one. YouTube, LBRY, Odyssey for the video. Libertarian Institute is where you can find the show notes page. And then audio should be up everywhere. Leave the show a rating and review it. You can. And anything you could do to support the show is greatly appreciated. Thanks, everybody. And we'll be back with another show on Monday.